Global diplomacy kicked off in the new year with the World Economic Forum's Davos Agenda 2022. This week, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a special State of the World address at the Davos Agenda via video conferencing. Chinese President Xi Jinping also addressed the summit. Let's look at some of the key points raised by both leaders. On COVID, Modi highlighted India's achievement of having administered 160 crore doses, adding that a democracy such as India has given the world a bouquet of hope. Modi hailed India as the pharmacy of the world while also praising the digital infrastructure built by his government to deal with the pandemic, mentioning contact tracing app Arogya Setu and CoWIN. On the reforms front, Modi talked about his government's achievements in having deregulated several sectors like drones, space, and geospatial mapping. India has carried out big reforms in the outdated telecom sector, the Indian PM added. Modi hailed India's entrepreneurial talent, mentioning that the country now has more than 60,000 registered startups and over 80 unicorns, of which 42 entered the club last year itself. He also pitched India as an investment destination for the world.
Make in India, make for the world, इस भावना से आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. टेलीकॉम, इंश्योरेंस, डिफेंस, एरोस्पेस के साथ साथ अब सेमी कंडक्टर्स के क्षेत्र में भी भारत में असीम संभावनाएं हैं. ग्रोथ का ये कालखंड ग्रीन भी होगा, क्लीन भी होगा, सस्टेनेबल भी होगा, रिलायबल भी होगा. ग्लोबल गुड के लिए बड़े कमिटमेंट्स करने और उन पर खरा उतरने की परंपरा को जारी रखते हुए हमने 2070 तक नेट जीरो का टारगेट भी रखा है.
Meanwhile, Xi stressed more on the challenges that the world faces amid the pandemic. He spoke about ensuring the equitable distribution of vaccines among countries and said that China has already delivered 2 billion doses of vaccines to 120 countries and will further contribute 1 billion doses to African countries. On the challenge of ensuring economic recovery of the world economy, Xi said,
"The global industrial supply chains have been disrupted. Commodity prices continue to rise. Energy supply remains tight. These risks compound one another and heighten the uncertainty about economic recovery. If major economies slam on the brakes or take a U-turn in their monetary policies, there would be serious negative spillovers. They would present challenges to global economic and financial stability, and developing countries would bear the brunt of it."
Amid heightened tensions between the US and China over Taiwan and amid fears of possible Russian intervention in Ukraine, Xi said,
"We need to discard Cold War mentality and seek peaceful coexistence and win-win outcomes. Our world today is far from being tranquil. Rhetorics that stoke hatred and prejudice abound. Acts of containment, suppression, or confrontation arising thereof do all harm, not the least good, to world peace and security."
Hailing his country's economic growth, Xi talked about 8% growth in China's GDP in 2021 and the importance of bettering economic and trade ties with other countries through the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement or RCEP. Let us go to former Foreign Secretary Shyam Saran for some insights.
Looking at the speeches of Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping at the World Economic Forum, what I was struck by was the similar emphasis in both their statements on the criticality of multilateralism and multilateral approaches to resolving some of the cross-cutting and global challenges that the world is facing. I mean, you particularly mentioned, for example, the pandemic, mentioned climate change, and both mentioned, the kind of contributions that each country has made to the world in trying to fight these challenges. The other aspect, perhaps we should note, is that Prime Minister Modi made a very strong pitch for India as an investment destination, as an economic and technological partner for other countries, saying that the possibilities today in India are unmatched. And not only spoke about, interestingly, about make in India, but make for the world. This is a slogan goes back for some time. But also he spoke very much about the uh, India's openness to free trade agreements. Now, this is something which is very interesting. Xi Jinping, on the other hand, was much more concerned about, the global economy being kept open, that there should be no barriers to trade, to technological cooperation. There should not be any decoupling. There should not be trade wars. So obviously, his preoccupations are somewhat different from India in this respect, and that comes out very clearly.
Clearly, both the leaders had different perspectives and standpoints, which meant that they stressed somewhat different themes. However, at the same time, there was some similarity in their approaches to the challenges of the day, particularly as far as the importance of multilateralism is concerned.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.